the right club. Be the right club today.
Johnny, that's better than most.
How about in?
That is better than most. Better than most.
Expect anything different?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the No Laying Up Live show presented by our friends at Titleist. We are going to put the 2026 PGA Championship in the books. Aaron Rai is your champion. I am Smalley, joined here by my guy, Mr. DJ Pie. Hello, DJ.
Hello, Smalley. Good to be with you. What a week. What a week. In a lot of ways, we got a lot to talk about and a lot of different directions we could go.
Many different ways we could go. TC is here. Hello, TC.
Hello, gentlemen.
He's double gloving it tonight for the audio listeners. As mentioned, we are brought to you by our friends at Titleist, the #1 ball in golf and choice of your PGA champion. Aaron Rai had his Pro V1 on a string, gaining almost 5 shots with this approach play alone over the weekend at Aronimink. Any guesses what age Aaron first put the Pro V1 in play?
15.
He's 31. 6.
Close. You're closer. When he was 9 years old. Yes, 9 years old. Titleist engineers designed Pro V1 to provide the optimal fit and best combination of speed, spin, and feel for golfers at every level. Aaron says the Pro V1 produces the exact right flight windows that he's looking to hit on the golf course. Also gives him great spin control around the greens with his preferred feel off the club face. If you don't know what golf ball model best suits your game, you should. We hear tour players say it all the time. It's the only piece of equipment you use on every shot. If you're not playing the right golf ball for your game, it's costing you strokes. Go to Titleist.com to learn more. Deej, take us away.
Guys, Aaron Rai is your PGA champion, and my man slammed the door. Okay, there's a lot of we're going to get to a lot of stuff tonight.
Your man,
and there's going to be a lot of what is this PGA Championship? Oh my God, Aaron Rai went out and absolutely took it. He was what? I think he was 3 under through 8, like for the week.
Yes,
and ended up finishing at 9 under. So you go ahead and do the math there. He eagled 9, would have shot in there, cashed a 40-footer. Birdie's 11, birdie's 13, birdie's 16, drains a 68-footer on 17 that I think the entire golf world was just aghast by. I think once that went in, I mean, it was just insane stuff to go up by 4 and slam the door and claim his first major championship. A couple stats, if you'll allow me. The first English winner, we're going to have some fun with this tonight, I think. First English winner of the PGA Championship in the stroke play era. First English winner of the PGA since TC's guy, Long Jim Barnes, in 1919. I believe he also won in 1916, and then they had to wipe out a bunch of them for World War I. Aaron Rai this is a great stat. First PGA champion in history to lower his score in each round. Started with a 70, shot 69 in round 2, 67 in round 3, and of course a 65 today. That has only happened 7 times at major championships, not since Marco Mira's at the 98 Masters.
It kind of fits his whole thing of like getting better every year.
Exactly.
Texted somebody earlier. You said he's gotten better every single year since 2018. Like,
God, I'm proud of you, better. TC. You want to talk setup so bad right now, but we are muzzling the setup talk until later. Yeah. I know. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. That was a wide,
no setup talk challenge here.
There was a wide opening.
It was perfect.
He is the first non-American to win the PGA since Jason Day back in 2015. We talked about that on the previous show. Last 10 winners of the PGA Championship have all been U.S. Americans. He's the first European to win the PGA since Rory McIlroy in 2014. This is a good stat I saw floating around. First time since the Masters started in 1934 that the Europeans have won the first 2 majors of the season. How about that?
Whoa.
That's kind of a mind blower, huh?
Yeah, that's crazy. I guess it was, yeah.
Last one I got, as you may have been confused because my man was pummeling the golf ball 330 down the stretch. I think he hit it like 330. Listen, I know the fairways are firm out there. I know there's some downhill shots. I know the ball's rolling. I think he hit it 338 there on 16. the par 5, and then I think he hit it 330 on 18. I know he was juiced up. Aaron Rai ranks 160th out of 166 on the PGA Tour in driving distance this year. Let me give you the rundown of the people that he is ahead of, okay? These are the only people on the PGA Tour he hits it farther than. Lucas Glover, TGL player Lucas Glover, Davis Chatfield, Matt Kuchar,
sensation Davis Chatfield.
Davis Chatfield's like 5'5".
Davis Chatfield, Matt Kuchar, Andrew Putnam, Brian Campbell, and Brandt Snedeker. Those are the only guys that hit it shorter than your PGA champion, Aaron Rai. So, Solly, I say to you, make sense of this for me. We live in a world where Aaron Rai is a major champion. He's obviously a very good player. Obviously, we know he works hard. How did this happen?
Do not direct that question to me. It's one of the most perplexing major championships we've ever covered, I think, trying to figure out what exactly just happened here. Again, this is backwards looking. This is not like, hey, what you guys thought the golf course was going to play like. This is we are looking backwards at like what was favored here, what was the test, what happened this past week. The golf course favored bombers, not like drastically, but it favored driving distance over accuracy. And it was a massive putting contest. Huge. Almost all the variants of this tournament came out of the putting. You just mentioned Aaron Rai, 160th out of 166 guys on tour in driving distance. And he's also a below average putter, like well below average putter. Like maybe you think like, oh, he's an accurate player. He's scrappy with the wedges and puts it really well. Hasn't putted it very well. And he won this golf tournament going away, like slammed the door, made the last hour of it non-existent. Even if you had told me, like, looking backwards, forget how wrong we were in all our predictions pre-tournament. Looking backwards, here's what we know about how it played out. I don't think he would have been in my top 100 guys that I would have said, like, oh, yeah, he's about to win this thing. Like, it is.
So he played Myrtle Beach last week.
It's unbelievable.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
He was 39th off the tee on the back of 68% driving accuracy, and he was second in approach play.
And he rolled the rock. He putted great this week.
He did roll the rock.
And it seems like he had. I do not mean this as a backhanded thing on the Rory stuff. There's a lot of, we're not talking setup, but he seemed like he had a plan for how he's playing the golf course. You know, even you get to 15, like monster par 4, and he's hitting less than driver because he knows that green is massive, and if he's in the fairway, he's going to make a 4, and that's exactly what happened. You know, and he didn't freak out when he got to the top of the leaderboard. He just kind of stayed to his plan and just executed the F out of it. I mean, it's just it's crazy how good he was down the stretch.
What hole did he hit that like low slinging hook? Was that 10?
He hit one of those on 18 yesterday.
That was sick. Like, oh yeah, on 18. But like he hit the little carvy slinging hook on 10 and got it running down the hill a little bit. Like there was some shot making.
Yeah.
And yeah, you mentioned that he averaged 304.5 yards off the tee today, which was 63rd in the field today.
It's hot. Ball's jumping
out. He also probably
hard.
hit more 3-woods today than the other guys.
Yeah, that's including all tee shots. Yeah, that's on everything, including the 3-wood he hit off 15. But no, it's again, we're gonna get to setup stuff. I promise. I know you guys are waiting for that. But like we did
frothing for setup stuff.
All the other best players in the world today and all week and all weekend, like not execute the shots he hit. Right? I mean, we'll definitely have some issues with how this was set up and how this tournament played out. But at the same time, you're all playing for the Wanamaker once you get it going, and one person like made the leap. Like I want to say it was impossible for anyone to make a run or make a move today based on what we saw. We saw somebody do it. It was just a guy we weren't expecting to happen, and you have to tip your cap. And it's weird and it's awkward because it just doesn't. You want the major championship stories to make sense from a narrative standpoint of like, it's Tommy Fleetwood's time. It's Justin Rose. He needed a second major here. Ludwig. It's supposed to make sense based on everything we've seen coming into it, and this one makes absolutely no sense, even less sense than JJ Spawn makes. But that's why I want to say that's why we love golf. At the same time, this wasn't the most exciting watch. But look, these things can happen in majors. They have not tended to happen. We've had an unbelievable run of major winners over the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years, really dating back to Jimmy Walker, TC. And but this can happen. I think we've been calling for one of these for quite some time, and it finally happened.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think the other side of that coin is why they play the games. That is why the stories matter. That is why it's fun to see a story like Aaron Rye and a guy who works his ass off and a guy who nobody says a bad word about, who just chips away and gets the most out of it. He is
slow. You can say that about him.
That's true. Mahalo, TC. He also gets the most out of his talent, right? Like, he's not a guy that probably was born to win major championships,
right?
And he just had to absolutely figure out how to do it and squeeze every possible ounce out of it. Max told me a story this morning as we were texting back and forth, and he said that this year after Riv, there were no flights to West Palm like late that night to go play the Cognizant. So Aaron Rye caught a flight to Miami, drove up to West Palm that night just so that he could have another full day on that whole Monday to practice at the Cognizant. He's like, that's who he is. Like, that's how hard he works. Xander had another story. I saw
that would have been an American flight, an American red
Imagine that. Imagine how bad you got to want it. This is another good one from Xander's presser that Kyle Porter tweeted out. Essentially, the crux of it, Xander gets to the Scottish Open and he thought it'd be fun to go out and putt at 9:00 at night with his caddy Austin, and Aaron Rye's still out there putting at 9 a.m., finishing up his normal routine, and then he goes to the gym at 9:45. And Xander said this was 3 years ago. I think that's what it's about to be a major champion. You put in the work when nobody's looking. Super pumped for him and his team. I think that's the takeaway, right? Cool. I mean, I know we dump on the Zach Johnsons of the world, but it is cool when there's a guy who
Aaron Rye's a lot cooler than Zach Johnson.
Sure. My point is there's a guy,
with iron covers and double gloves is a hell of a lot cooler than Zach Johnson.
What a world. It's good when, I don't know. Should we just bring in Neil? I feel like Neil's Mr. Get everything out of your talent guy. Neil, is
gentleman.
That right? Am I setting you up for that?
So I'm running a little late tonight. I think you are. I think this is a win for first off, get him on the team, TC. Of course. Get him in the lads club, number one. Number two, I think it's a win for just golf coach, like infomercials, late night golf channel, golf lessons, golf swing aids I'm getting served on Instagram. Just like Aaron Rye strikes me as like, I will do anything to get a little bit better. And I appreciate the fuck out of that. I think
there's a part of me, Neil. There's a part of me that's like, do we need to be inspiring more people like that? Do we need to be tricking some of these people that they can win majors?
But it should give anybody,
not John Robb, man. You're not John Robb.
Anybody at the club hope of like, man, if you go grind, if you go putt at 9 p.m., maybe you could win the PGA Championship.
And whether I'm happy for Aaron Rye, but whether that's a net positive or negative for golf remains to be seen.
Guys, is he the heir apparent to Team Rose?
Maybe.
As far as squeezing all the juice out, he's got as many major championship wins as Team Rose and Tommy combined.
I had a football coach tell me my last day of practice my senior year that I got more out of my talent than anybody ever recruited, which is the most backhanded compliment.
Oh yeah, I would never want to hear that.
But I do agree that like the worst thing in the world is wasted talent, and I want to say that Aaron Rye's not wasting any drop of talent, and he's figured out a way. I mean, the driving accuracy, it was like, guys, it's almost like he was looking around like, guys, we got to hit the fairway here. Yeah. I know what the stats are saying, but it's just a lot less stressful if you're in the fairway. And DJ, I know you already hit on it, but God, I was watching on a little bit of a delay. I was just chuckling. I mean, he's just hitting like laser beams from 230, like down the stretch. It was crazy, man.
He's the kind of guy, once he got out in front, I was like, I don't know how he's going to screw this up. Like, he doesn't miss.
Well, you can't screw anything up at this course either.
It reminded me
double bogey perspective.
I mean, somewhat recency bias, but like the Abu Dhabi event where it was kind of the same feeling where I saw, you look at the leaderboard and it was like him and Rory and Tommy got beat by him.
He did beat Tommy in the playoff.
I think Nikolai Højgaard was up there, but it was just a lot of like big names, Ryder Cuppers. And then it's like, oh, and here comes Aaron Rye. I'm like, oh yeah, okay. I'm sure Aaron Rye is going to stare these guys down. And then he did. And he just kept hitting golf shot after golf shot after golf shot. And I think he won in a playoff, but it's like he went toe-to-toe
with a birdie
guys
in the playoff.
And I think I filed that away in like the subconscious recesses of my brain of like, we'll revisit that if we ever need to. Like, I'm not going to think about that again unless I have to. And so, like, to your point, it was kind of the same feeling today, where it was like, as soon as, he made that essentially that par on 15, and then he hits the fairway on 16. I'm like, oh God, it's over. It's so over.
Yeah.
Like this is done. Of course he's not going to give it up.
One thing, like this is the guy that set a Guinness Book of World Records, like record for.
I have some questions about that.
Sinking 207 consecutive putts from a distance of 10 feet. So Deej, he's like the opposite of me. The discipline it takes
Was
to
it a
like
flat
play.
spot?
Dude, he had to have carved a little alley there, like that. You don't make 207.
Like
But
the Xander thing.
He's
where
willing.
he
He's
just
willing
mashes
to
down the
try to
line.
do that. And I think in a tournament where it's like, yeah, man, there's just a lot of like, we got to hit it to 25 feet, and just the patience and the discipline. Like I got, that was the test this week, and he passed it with flying colors. It just like it played right into his strengths. I'm impressed. Because I can't do that. I would have gotten greedy at some point. You know me.
Couple things here. Matt, who works on our social team, used to work for the PGA Tour. He told us earlier today. He said Aaron Rai is truly the nicest person he had met in his 3 years of damn near talking to every single guy out there. Like that, out of his way to be like this. Just so we're clear, like the nicest, truly the nicest.
And then he said there's a difference between kind and nice, and Aaron Rai is kind.
He said there's being cordial and professional, and there's being kind, and Aaron is the latter.
And then we all tell you, Matt, we don't care. We don't care. We still want Rob or Rory to win.
But there is somebody who needs to answer for this victory, right? Somebody is getting absolutely stunted on. We do want to thank Yeti for presenting this week's coldest moment. This was from the preview. We're getting a lot of emails about this. If we have it, Cody, could you please play it? No, we do not have it. We will have it here shortly, maybe potentially. We've broken down. All right, we are having technical difficulties here. I'll say this. Okay, I got some stats on Aaron Rai. So he's 63rd ranked player in the world, again, using data golf rankings, not the corrupt WGR. Phil was 158th when he won the PGA, but you got to go all the way back to Keegan in 2011 to find somebody that far down on the data golf rankings. Y.E. Yang was 59, McKeel was 71, Beamer was 150. So this happens at the PGA way more than it happens at other majors. U.S. Open, you got to go all the way back to Michael Campbell in 2005. He was 179th in the world. And Open Championship, Darren Clark are the only like higher rated people in the data golf rankings to win a major. But getting word, we do have our clip here. This is our Yeti coldest moment of the week. This is from the preview episode.
How do you square your English kind of hatred with what Fitz is doing right now? There was a lot of comments on that last night.
Yeah,
I don't think it's hatred.
I wouldn't qualify it as hatred.
You're right. Hatred's not the right word.
No, I'm just trying to call balls and strikes on the English. And right
don't
now
like
they're
baseball,
looking at a lot of called third strikes. Fun fact for you guys. Do you guys know Jim Barnes, the name Jim Barnes?
Long Jim Barnes,
the only Englishman to win the PGA Championship. And in fact, he won the first two playings in 1916 and 1919. No Englishman has won the PGA Championship since 1919.
Could be Harry Hall's music this week.
Will that streak break? I wouldn't bet on it, but we'll see.
Poor Randy.
The blokes and chaps. They want to quarter them, man. It's good stuff.
Gear up for summer at Yeti.com. And Big's out this weekend. He's got his niece's graduation, but we were going to miss an opportunity to dunk on him there.
Also want to shout out Lottie Woad just for good measure one on the LPGA. Just stunning on Randy as well.
That was even colder than Bryson's coat on Thursday.
Bryson had a lot of cold moments this week.
The emails are rolling in from the blokes and chaps, though. They want heads to roll with Randy. They want a formal apology from the big guy. So we'll look for that later this week.
As they should.
Guys, real quick. This was right under my nose the whole time, and I didn't pick up on the scent. Aaron Rai, just running through some of his victories. Obviously, we watched the Wyndham where he beat Grazerman after Kuchar didn't think it was appropriate for Grazerman to continue playing. Like he was his father or something. But he shot 64 there, like really, like he shut the door there. He won the Hong Kong Open in 2018 over Matt Fitzpatrick. Not a national open, but kind of.
Open, yeah.
Is that the one that gets into the Masters now?
Yes.
Economic Zone Open.
He won the the Scottish Open in 2020 in a playoff over Tommy, BDE. He won the Abu Dhabi in a playoff over Tommy last year. And then just getting word, before it was a DP World Tour, like full event, it was a Challenge Tour event, and he won the Kenya Open in 2017. National
Magical.
Open. Yeah.
Did it become magical?
Before it was magical.
When it became a TV World Tour event? Is that when the magic took hold?
Looks like the magic started in 2019. So he won the second to last Barclays Kenya Open. Anyway, I just wanted to call that out because that's, kind of a feather in his cap as far as being a proper player with some BDEs.
It's true. What's the best way to tackle this? You want to go down the leaderboard a little bit?
I think it's time.
Just a slow, methodical down the leaderboard. Starting T2, John Rahm, I think is going to be
Sean Rahm
is going to be just ripe for conversation. 68 today for John Rahm. A little bit of scuffling early. I actually real hot start out of the gates with birdie. It kind of looked like he was going to shoot 59 and then dumps a wedge in the bunker on number 3, drives it in the shite on number 7, makes a bogey, and then just kind of stuck in neutral on the way in, as many people kind of seem to be on that back 9. All adds up to 68 and 6 under for the week. Runner up, Neil. We knew it was going to be a big year for John Rahm at the majors. We knew we were ready for him to answer the bell. This is the loudest I would say that he's answered it. What's your takeaway on Rahm this week?
Signs of life. I mean, at least like for me, because I haven't watched a ton of him play a ton, but I know the data said that he's been a dude. Deej, I want to commend you. You picked him not to win, and you predicted that he would come in second. So I thought that was kind of fun. Man, I appreciate it. You can tell Rahm he's a pot ready to boil over at all times, but you can tell he really cares. And I think he realizes the gravity of not letting this kind of thing slip away right now where he's at. So you got to feel like he's pretty frustrated tonight. And I appreciate that he's frustrated, I guess is what I'm trying to say. It feels like it stings. And this one feels like, I can't say one he should have snatched because Aaron Rodgers just ran away with it. I kind of look at the putt when he made that putt on 17. I mean, they showed a camera angle of Ludwig and his caddy, and they were both just kind of like, oh man, like what? I can't, nothing I can do about it. And maybe Rahm feels that way, but it feels like a lot of like the putt on, I think it was 15 down the hill, just a few spots where he's just couldn't get anything to drop. So got to think he's a little frustrated.
I think Rahm was glad to see him a little bit more level-headed, and it just seemed like less seething or simmering.
Aside from assaulting a volunteer.
Well, that was earlier in the week. He did a bad thing earlier in the week. And then Kerry Haig didn't actually, abide by his own code of conduct as well.
Do we know that he didn't get a warning?
I don't know.
I guess we don't know.
Okay, we don't know.
Probably should have been in jail.
It's assault. I kind of felt the same way. Maybe I'm just easy to please, but yeah, it seemed like he kind of kept the emotions in check. It seemed like I haven't seen him clap into the gallery for a while. That was nice to see after 18 days. Great in the press room all week. It's just more fun when he's involved. I think there's been no, at least for me, I feel like there's no like grave dancing, over the last couple of years. It just stinks.
Right.
Like I think that's coming out of like 2022, 2023. It was like, oh my God, I can't wait to watch. Like we're reaching that point where, it was kind of like the Scotty thing where like, is this guy super exciting to watch? What's going on? Until you start stacking up enough wins, they're like, okay, no, now I'm curious what this guy is doing every week. And it feels like we kind of had the rug pulled on us a little bit over the last couple of years at the majors. So I had a great time. He was the player I was most fascinated to see what was going to happen today. And he didn't get it done. But to your point, Neil, it's like, it wasn't really lack of, this is don't talk about the setup challenge, but it couldn't really get anything going because it was a lot of just putting from 30 feet and he wasn't the guy that made the putts. But he did pretty much everything else that he needed to do this week, and he got beat by one guy who made a bunch of those putts.
Two things can be true. His record in major championships since going to Live is below par, and it's not reflective of his talent. And also, it was extremely unlikely that he was going to stay down for a long time. Like the guy's game just like does not slump. He's the buoy. That's why they call him that. The Philly fans were calling him that. Pretty much heard every hole that I followed him out there on Thursday. But he's a massive talent that continues to play really good golf. It's just a ton of pressure on yourself when you only play 4 real tournaments a year, and he's not handled that well up to this point. I think this is like he didn't win, of course, but like it's a fly the banner of like, okay, yeah, he's still one of the dudes. He's still a major championship contender and just not somebody you can kind of write off heading into major championships. And Shinnecock should set up quite well for him. I see no reason why Birkdale wouldn't as well. I'd be stunned if he didn't top 10 both of them. And again, I would not be even remotely surprised if he won one of the last 2 majors of the year.
Well, I mean, as a dude, he should probably get on that.
So he is a dude now?
No, I don't know. According to you, he is. I'm told
Correct.
I can't chime in on this anymore.
No,
well,
I've
he needs to, because that's what he's
the
put,
statute of
he's put a lot of
limitations is
pressure.
up
That was
after.
the kind of what DJ and I were talking about at the beginning of the year. Just it puts a lot of pressure on him, and I thought this was the first time it felt like he answered the bell on that pressure. It felt like he rose up, and he didn't fold like last year at Quail. It felt like he kind of
he
blew it at the end. It didn't feel like he blew it today.
Deej, I think I'll push back a little bit on like the Rye making 30-foot putts. Like he did some of that, but I think also like I think if you look at Rye's scorecard and just what he did on the weekend, like his approach play was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Like he crushed people with his wedges this weekend too. Wedges and mid irons. I mean, he was exceptional, kind of just approach play generally speaking, and then backed it up with some good putting. But like I think he made 12 birdies and 1 eagle on the weekend. Rahm made 8 birdies total on the weekend.
Yeah.
No eagles. So it's kind of like he just went out and got it. I feel like Rahm today, what he had, like he birdied 9 and then he made 6 pars in a row after that, and then birdied 16. But aside from the 2 birdies on the par 5s there, like no birdies on any par 4s or par 3s from 3 to 18 today.
But that's where it kind of reminded me a little bit of how Rory played too, when you get to him in a second. But it's kind of that major championship sort of style, but for whatever it weirdly wasn't as rewarded at a venue like this for some reason, because everybody's kind of stuck in neutral. Do you know what I mean? Where it's like he's not driving it far off. He's either hitting the fairway or he's just off, and then he's playing to the fat parts. And it's just a bunch of 2-putting. And a lot of majors, you're like, oh, that's great. That's what you need to do. And for whatever reason, there just wasn't the opportunities. He didn't take advantage of 13. And that's kind of, I guess, what I'm talking about with not taking anything away from Rye, but it's like he made a bomb on 9, he made a bomb on 17, and Rahm didn't take advantage of 13. And it's like, well, there's 3 shots right there. And so they didn't hit it all that different outside of like kind of the stunners that Rye hit on the last 3 holes.
Rahm and JT also hit it in that one patch of rough on the set, like right of 7. Every time anybody went in there, I was like, what is that? Where did that come from?
Yeah. The really high stuff, right?
Yeah.
Again, this is not yet, Deej, I promise, commentary on the course setup. But I think if we think about what just happened here, like a ton of the shorter par 4s, the approaches for basically everyone in the field are going to come in from a closer range. The PGA of America's reaction to that was to make the pins super difficult. What the advantage is that Rahm and Rory and a lot of the best players typically have in majors when the test is more stretched out, that you're going to have more fair or more approachable pins because a lot of guys are coming in with 9, 8, 7, 6 irons based on kind of that range. And they're longer off the tee, and they're going to have short irons in there, and they're really good with those clubs that they over 72 holes gain. Where you could still kind of bomb it out there. You could hit it kind of wherever you, not necessarily wherever you want it out there, but it was good to get it out there, and there was openings in the front of the greens, and you could run shots up. But even if you were in the fairway with wedges, it just required such a precise wedge shot that is not the specialty of Rahm. That is not the specialty of Scotty. That's not the specialty of Rory. That when we're waiting for them to make their move and you kind of hit the nos and go, it was not playing in their hands to be able to do that. And they were going to need to make a ton of putts. They were going to need to do something special that wasn't really fit with their game to take off and take this over. So they weren't, the kind of their superpowers were just muted and mitigated in a way. And the chances of somebody in the Rye group or Smalley group or Schmid group doing something way outside the norm of what they would do is more likely to play out in that kind of setup than it would have been in a more stretched out major championship venue.
Can I say one thing there? I agree with that with Rahm. I think you summed up Rahm's round really well. Rory, I would say I thought he played super patient on all the hard holes, and then he blew it. Like on nine's a perfect example. Like he just didn't hit the shots today.
Yeah.
Like you can't leave a 7-iron short after you hit it 390, dude. Like we got to pounce on that. And then 13.
That was a cool. That was a cool pin.
That was a good
today.
pin.
Yeah.
You do have to hand it to Kerry Hay.
So,
on
Rory was just like, lying in wait, and then he just like spilled his drink all over his shirt on like the spots where he was, supposed to handle it. And that's, so I would say like some of that's like on Rory specifically.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like
you got to pass the test right in front of you and fail.
And I just think the test, we'll get to the test, but I think it was interesting to see a guy like Rye, especially once he got the lead, a real process-based guy. TC, deliberate, slow, we'll call it. Yeah. But slow. A guy that's never going to deviate from like that set, that was perfect for him of like, okay, I'm just going to do, he's very deliberate about what he's doing. And I felt like some of these other guys on the back nine, they got flustered and impatient, right? And it was like, yeah, because they're behind. But I felt a little bit of that all week with some of these guys. And so it's just, for me, it was just a different look. Like I think part of the test was, can you be patient? And then when 13 comes around, can you hit the shot? And in Rory's case, I'm like, man, that was a horrible swing. Like, you can't do that.
Are we doing course setup or are we doing down the leaderboard?
No, we're going to keep going down the leaderboard. Keep going down the leaderboard. Alex Smalley playing in the final group, pars his first 5 holes, makes a very, very bad double on 6. One of the few doubles.
Like that should have been a quad.
Yeah.
He didn't hit a single fucking good shot. Any of the 6 shots that he hit, they were all awful. That was unbelievable. It was just like Rye on 18 on Saturday. There's no downside risk.
How many doubles were there today? 16 doubles for, what did we have, 60 some players?
That's just not acceptable.
It's not great.
And I don't think that's a setup problem. I think that's a venue problem. We'll get there.
Anything to kind of add on Alex Smalley, how he acquitted himself, made eagle on 16, birdied the 18th to shoot even. I don't have a ton left.
Honestly, man,
a hanging question.
Like he played his first 6 holes on the weekend. Like each of the days he played them in 5 over par total, and he played the weekend in -2.
Yeah.
So he played the other.
Super impressive.
I think it was impressive. I think I'm glad that, like I say this earnestly, I'm glad that the mom stuff is out in the open, because I feel like I've been sitting on that or like kind of waving my hands in the air for people over the last 18 months. And everybody's like, nobody's really paying attention. And you talk to people, it's fucking weird, man. It's really weird. And I think it's like kind of tragic and sad. So I'm glad it's out in the open and we can, see what happens here in the next 6 to 12 months on it.
First off, TC, did you take one of the gloves off?
I did, because I can't, the rain glove doesn't work for my computer, the little trackpad.
Just making sure. I thought you started with 2.
I did.
I want to say
one of them didn't fit.
My takeaway with one show with the 2 gloves. That's how short that commitment lasted.
With Alex Smalley, great golf swing. Like I don't think I don't know if we've said that, but just he hits that like really nice draw. Don't see a lot of guys drawing the golf ball. I've seen a lot of his golf this week. I just want to recognize that it's a very, very good looking golf swing.
It is. Justin Thomas, Solly, to your point about guys who filled it up today and hit really nifty wedges. Justin Thomas shot 65. Looked for a while like we were kind of joking internally a little bit on like, oh my God, how stupid is anybody thinks JT still has a chance? Then the farther the day went on, it was like, JT might still have a chance.
That's what we were all rooting for. Just everybody come back to -5 and let's have a 6-man playoff.
It was man, I know people's mileage varies on JT, and there's plenty of people who don't like watching him. It's electric, man. When he gets it going and when he turns into swaggy JT and he's leaning on the tee shots and he's nipping wedges and he's, it looks like every putt's going. It's really fun. And it was really fun today to watch him kind of be the one that made the big charge.
As someone who gets really poor mileage on JT, like just awful gas mileage, like Neil, our Chevy Tahoe growing up, 11 or 12 miles a gallon we were getting on that thing. I love having JT in the mix.
It's the best.
I think JT is so necessary. Like, we need those swashbuckling, cocky, streaky players. I loved watching him. Like today, he hit a great wedge, I think into 11, and just kind of spun it off this slope. And I'm like, God, like I wish we saw more of that this week, generally speaking, from the golf course. But I've missed seeing that from JT as well. And he's wearing, he had the ALD shoes on all week, the FootJoy collab, and he putted well. He putted lights out, 4th in putting for the week.
He had first top 10 for him in 2 years, I think, at a major.
Why
It's
is
just
this,
a
why
sense
does this
for
one
the
stick
moment.
out so much for him? Why is it this major is the only one that he has consistent success? It's
Just
not even
loves the
consistent.
30,000.
Yes, but because it's always a pretty weird tournament in general. You just don't see somebody that's like a horse for a particular event. Maybe Brooks checks out in this category as well, but I can't really put my finger on it.
No, it's a really good point. Yeah,
Well,
I
it's
don't
like the
know.
putt on when he makes that par on 18, and same with like the putt he made at the end of the Ryder Cup last year. It's like he just has a sense for the moment.
Yeah.
And in kind of a toss up like this, like I just mad respect for him just sticking with it, because throughout the week it was like he was just on the edge a lot, and he just like willed himself into he almost like you feel like of all the people out there, I feel like JT is the one willing putts in. Like I just mentally like I am not missing this, and then he celebrates it in a way that gets you hyped. It's electric's the word, Deej. It's fun to watch.
I think if you're looking at JT, I think if you're looking at JT's, like where it kind of went undone, the bogey on 9 on Saturday, like that was like, that's like a double basically, right? And that was in a stretch of 4 bogeys in a row. If he just smooths that out a little bit, like he didn't make a par for 8 holes from 3 through 10.
It's electric.
Like it was fucking electric.
I loved seeing, I think there's a quote from Spieth today, because Jordan's shot was that on Friday. I think the little low runner scooter punch shot that Jordan hit on 11, which was kind of, having a moment online. I think he was asked about it afterwards and said that he told Annie, his wife, that like, I think JT's the only other guy that would have tried that shot, which is, I mean, that explains why I think I like watching those two players as much as anybody.
It's got the juice, man. It's
Got the juice, Sally.
And it's no news to this crowd. The High Noon Transfusion certified hit. That's right. They've brought the #1 golf drink into their vodka seltzer lineup. That's the Transfusion. You can get it now, but it is not here for a long time. I'm surprised they're even letting us still use this copy through the weekend, because I'm surprised they haven't run out. Thank you for everyone that's been sending in pictures, the many pictures we've gotten of where you've been able to find it. But it is a limited supply, irresistible grape taste, crafted with real vodka, real juice, sparkling water, hint of ginger and lime. Again, here for a short time, not a long time. Get it before it disappears. Let us know where you find it. Tag us on social. Tell your friends. Blow up the group chats. High Noon, sun's up.
I'm so bummed that I think this is my last transfusion from the fridge. I'm going to be taking my time with this one, because
Stock up.
I need to. You're right. TC, do we need to talk about Ludwig? What do you think? Is this? Let me ask you this: W or L this week?
I think a lot. I think
T4?
micro massive L. Like
there could be terminal issues.
We just got foreclosed on, and we have to move out of our house, and yeah, it's not good. But macro, I think it could be the biggest dub of all time, because if this doesn't fucking convince him to switch to a mallet, I don't think anything ever will. And quit putting with that dumbass Oreo looking putter. It's awful. It's unbecoming. I'm tired of it, man.
You were really knots about Ludwig. To your credit, the spin zone ended, which I appreciated.
Oh God, it pissed me off, man. Like it was
mad as hell.
It was not fun to watch. I mean, the 3-putt on 10 today. Some of the short-sided misses, it just wasn't fun, man. Like I did not like that ride.
Yeah, but then he sucks you back in with he played in 16, just makes it look so easy. Just like drive, hit the front of the green, 2-putt for birdie. It's just like, God, that's easy. That looked really, really easy.
#1 in tee to green this week. #1,
which is surprising, because I felt like I saw
putting.
a lot of right balls. I felt like
that's after a clanky day on Thursday too. That's how well he hit the ball, and then he just just browns out for 3, 4, 5 holes at a time.
Yeah,
It turns into a vegetable.
I wouldn't wear this one too hard because again, it just like it feels like he would have waltzed to a 3-shot win in a different kind of golf tournament.
Yeah, but that makes it even worse because people are like, TC, he doesn't have the bottle. TC, he doesn't have the minerals.
They're just reading your quotes back to you. Okay, we're just asking for a consistent application.
Yeah. I was Neil. I got sucked in by how easy he does make it look. I was joking earlier. Him and Rye playing in the same group. I was like, this is like a Mac and a PC just playing right next to each other. One of them is just ultra design, sleek, but then like the battery goes out. You're like, how the fuck am I supposed to fix that? I gotta go to the Genius bar to fix. What are you talking about? There's Aaron Rye's just
Aaron Rye's open source, man. He's like,
built it himself.
Me and my golf guy. He's got the whole community working on his game.
And what lasted till the end of the week? The Lenovo ThinkPad, just
Nokia
workhorse. Yeah,
Neil, it's like Dad's
buys, 50 million of those things.
Our dad's got this Toyota Tacoma truck, and he's like, "Yeah, I've spent like $280 on maintenance and parts on it in the last 7 years. Like, it just doesn't
Mac PC
just doesn't break. It doesn't. Like, I don't have to do anything.
Exactly.
With it.
God, that's good stuff, Deej.
Matty Schmid.
I will listen. No one likes to pile on TC more than me. We're not going to pile on for the Ludwig thing here. This is a good major championship showing. It was a close call. Wasn't perfect golf, but like, let me. I still, if there's anyone getting rid of, anyone hopping off the bandwagon with Ludwig, there's an open more spot for more of my family to get on. We'll take a seat.
You're interested in some buybacks. That's a man.
Yeah, he shot a great 66 on Friday. I gotta keep that in mind. It just. Yeah, he should have won this thing going away, and he didn't. And he didn't, and he can't do it right now, and it's pissing me off, Solly.
Mad as hell. Do we need to talk Matty Schmid? T4 shot 1 under today in the final group. Never been in a final. I don't know if he's never been in a final group. Never had a 54-hole lead on the PGA Tour. Impressive to go out and shoot under par. It's about kind of where my commentary ends. Wish him all the best.
Yeah, he was a threat down the early part of the back 9. I mean, he got to 6 under. And then, Aaron Rye kind of just sucked all the juice out of the tourney.
Yeah.
I think Schmid, Bernhard personally taught him how to putt based on what we saw this weekend too.
That's legally you can't get sued for what you just said, which is great. But I think anybody knows what you're talking about, which is artful. TC. The mangy dog Cam Smith was back. That was
wow.
Definitely more electric than JT. That was like, I looked up and I know he bogeyed 17, but I looked up after I think 15. And I was like, holy shit, this guy hasn't made a bogey today? Like, this is the worst I've ever seen somebody hit it. How is this guy 3 under par? He was blowing it off the planet, hitting into bunkers.
Fairways, 3 of 14. That's crazy.
That's insane.
He hit 23 all week. He doesn't hit it far.
You know what's crazy? He hit 72% of his greens today.
It's
he might be the rat king.
I think so. I think he is. And it's just fun to watch him. I think what I miss the most if I'm zooming into the super micro, just his tempo on those little crafty pitch shots. I'm like, man, I could sit and watch him at the chipping green just all day hitting those shots. I have missed those greatly. It was very, very fun to have him involved. I was joking with you guys on Slack that the Mickelson thing, as much at Kiowa, as much as that seemed like the most unlikely victory in the history of major championships, I'm like, guys, Cam Smith winning a major this week would not be that different. Like you convinced me it's even more unlikely based on his recent form, where he's been in the major. Just he seems like he's been in the wilderness, and so
a bit of a walkabout.
Yeah, truly. Just credit to him, man,
for the wilderness. He's been in the wilderness, and
in the bush.
I think it was by choice maybe at first, and I actually think he's actually been working pretty hard on his game. He wasn't getting anything out of it, and he switched his coach, and he's seeing immediate returns. But like, for him to do what he did this week with hitting 41% of his fairways, and like, I mean, the rough wasn't gnarly, but it wasn't like, it was it was a penalty, right? Like we can debate on whether it was enough of a penalty or if the wayward misses were too rewarded versus, like it was kind of like Carnoustie a few years ago, where like the wayward miss gets not penalized at all, and the miss 3 yards off the fairway gets crushed.
Yeah.
I think there was a little bit of that out there, but I forgot how much I love watching Cam play golf. It's great.
It looked like it was just something like 3 things in a row would have to go very wrong for him to make a bogey because, and he didn't putt well coming down the stretch. Like, I think I gave him a unintentional Twitter jinx of just like, it just felt like every time he stood over a putt, it was going in the center of the hole. It felt like 2022 Open Championship for a little while there of like, dude, where is this guy going to screw it up? Because he can't drive the ball, yet he makes par on every single one of these holes. And I don't know if it's enough to declare him back. I think this was a really good opportunity for him based on what the test was this week. And I don't know if the stars are going to necessarily align, but it's good to see him back in contention and playing good golf and being a relevant person in the golf world.
Totally. And you get to, who knows, not that he's going to be some favorite or something, but you get to Shinnecock where it's probably going to blow and a bunch of people are going to miss greens and you got to have a tidy short game. Like, very well might not be the end of him this year. And I think the other thing that I was thinking about watching him make a run is, again, it's 1 week, who knows, but you hear like the quotes from a lot of the live guys over the last couple weeks since the ship has kind of started to sink, and there's just been a lot of like, well, I guess that's it, type of stuff. And I would have bet money on Cam being one of those guys based on what we've seen over the last couple of years, right? I mean, I think he's loved the work-life balance, it seems like, from what Liv has offered. And I wouldn't have even blamed him for being like, you know what, I'm just going to fish and hang out and play with my buddies and do whatever. And it seems like he's wanted to really like get back in the fight. And, they've talked about it a lot, but getting back and working with Claude Harmon and rebuilding stuff and kind of putting the machine back together. So massive, massive credit and appreciation for him doing that.
Do you guys
or at least starting it?
I mean, technical question here, but shorten it up at the top of the swing.
It seems
I mean, that just seems like a low key, like
cross the line.
Maybe we'll start there. Maybe we'll shorten it up a little bit. I got to think that's having an impact on the accuracy.
That's why it took me so long to buy in on him, because but he was playing well. He was still doing that. And I was like, that just still doesn't look right.
I don't know if that's gonna.
I mean, Neil, you want to talk about maximizing your talent? Like he's a guy, like when he's playing great, I think he's so much greater than the sum of his parts. Like he like embodies the bottle and the metal. And I thought
the minerals,
1 or 2 of those putts, like those birdie putts, he was giving them a good run. They're kind of middle stretch of the round, like 12, 13. And I thought one of those was going to fall. And he was like, all right, he's got that scent of blood. And when he tracked Rory down at the Open Championship, and I thought that same thing was going to happen today for a little bit, for about 25 minutes.
It weirdly reminded me of that round as well, except for one of those guys, one of those Cam Smiths was at the peak of his powers in total control of his golf ball. It was like the same, almost like the same attitude with a different skill set. And it was funny to see how the results of those shots differed.
I also want to give Cam credit for sticking with the mangy dog look in the mullet.
True.
I kind of thought like he'll kind of grow out of this. He hasn't, and I'm impressed by that, because that's just it's just quite a look. And he's just like, nah, man, it's my look. It's good stuff.
We were talking last night, Neil, when we hung up. Speaking of your across the line comment, we were saying I think you should just start an Instagram where you just give out swing, you just break down swings, and you don't have to even know what you're talking about, but just be super.
Start drawing lines on the screen.
Yeah.
And you can see right here, he's way over the line. This is what we call muchacho ball. Right here. You see that? You see the hips go? That's what we're talking about there.
No, look at what he's supinating here. I
mean,
this
of course,
this is a dead
stuck.
zone.
And he's stuck here. Okay. He's stuck.
Speaking
stuck can mean anything.
Speaking of stuck, we saw Rory get mega stuck on 13. I was happy to hear Trevor call that one out. He's trying to hit the mega bad boy 5-wood there on 13.
Which I don't get.
Tell you what,
because they were telling me about all these hip turns there on 13T, and all the hip turn percentage stuff was telling me that he should have been better than the field average on that. That was such valuable information.
Solly, if only we could get the swing from today.
Yeah, that was
All
tough.
those cameras.
Having Trevor
That
clock
thing
that,
sucked.
Trevor clocked that swing in real time. You could see he didn't even need to see a replay. He could have broken down exactly what just happened, and instead he had to go to like a swing from Thursday because they sold the whole T-Mobile. That was not good.
Club Magenta was bumping this week, though. I heard there was EDM music coming out of the Club Magenta next to the 5th or 6th hole like, all week, to the point where it sounded like Live over there.
Hell yeah, golf with louder. Anything else on Rory? I know we kind of touched on him a little bit earlier.
Don't have a ton. Like I was expecting more from him today, and some gas pedal stuff, and it. I don't know, just didn't quite.
I was impressed, like the whole front nine, basically until 9. He just really seemed like he was biding his time, playing patient, and he just had some like colossal, some bad swings or maybe decisions,
driving
in
better.
some bad
Driver's bad.
spots.
Yeah,
Guys, we all kind of whiffed on. I mean, everybody whiffed on like just summing this place up or prognosticating upon what this test was going to be like. But that said, like I think Rory's pre-round presser saying that, hey, there's no strategy, just bomb it as far as you can down there and then figure it out, juxtaposed with Rye's, approach to it. I think it's one of those, like, I think if I had a question for Tiger right now, like I don't think we would ever see Tiger hop up in a pre-tournament presser and say something like that, which then maybe even said to Kerry, hey, cool, I'm going to set this up even more.
we're gonna tuck it even more than we.
Yeah. And then like, I think I would have been really
date your mom even
fascinated.
harder.
Yeah. Like, I think I would have been really fascinated to see how Tiger attacked this course this week, like prime Tiger, right? Like, is he hitting a lot of 2-irons and stingers off the tee? Is he like, I don't know. I think that's just like a really interesting theoretical question.
It is, and it's interesting. If you'd taken prime Tiger and plopped him in today's era, would he approach it different with the knowledge of strokes gained and the guys just send it farther now? It was like back then. So it's kind of like, I think about this with baseball. When everyone got really smart with baseball, the game got more boring, but like you could have a standout Tony Gwynn style player be really valuable because everyone's kind of playing the batting average game and they don't really understand the value of home runs and all this stuff. But like now that everybody got that knowledge
in the modern day,
you're the value of that guy decreases because everyone got smart. It's same with 3-point line in basketball. Like the mid-range game was a huge strength for Allen Iverson, but like once 3-pointers, like the full math came to be on 3-pointers, everyone's racing to do that. So taking prime Tiger, who could do a lot of things, would he have been more of a bomber in this age? But to your point, I think like this would have been a really, even for like 2018, 2019 Tiger, the modern version of Tiger, the best version of that we would have seen would have been really interesting, I think, on this golf course, because it would have been long enough and kind of just that little peely cut and shaping balls up against the fairway to hold them and playing, smart golf towards middle of fairways and putting well would have been in contention, I think, on this golf course.
And part of me thinks like maybe Rory just didn't have the energy to deduce this golf course after everything he threw into,
I think he just drove it like shit though too, right? I mean,
true.
He was very inaccurate, and I don't think maybe his words didn't come off great, and I don't think he was just trying to hit it as far as possible, go find it and figure it out. I think it was just like, I've got no reason not to hit driver a lot on this golf course. He just needed to be more accurate with it.
Yeah.
But I just think about like, was this, and again, we got more time till we get into the setup stuff, but like, was this Kerry Haig's almost defense against the strokes gained stuff, against modern golf? He's like, you know what? I'm gonna write a really interesting album that is just totally going against that. And I don't like Kerry Haig. I think he's pretty joyless in a lot of his setups and his lack of explanation and things, and just generally how he goes about things. But I think it's kind of an interesting concept album, if you will. I didn't like it, but
TC, that kind of sums up my feelings on the concept album specifically. Like
Just do this now. Are we good to get it?
Xander was the only other one in the top 10.
Gloves off.
Xander, didn't have
Xander made birdie on 18 because it's kind of was stuck in neutral the rest of the day. Deej, I'll hit you. I'll kick off this conversation with a with an analogy, if you'll
Please.
allow it.
Oh.
And I need your help. The reason I'm directing this to you is I need your help. I think Drew may have said it in our Slack earlier from our team that this week, this tournament reminded him of like a movie that he's like, yeah, I'm enjoying it, but I don't know if I'm going to rewatch that one, you know? And I was trying to think of that movie. I was thinking about the one, what was the one that Jamie Lee Curtis was in?
Dude, that was the first thing that came to mind for me.
What's
Everything,
that?
Everywhere, all at once.
Yeah. Where I was like, yeah,
It's like, a
but I'm
lot
just
of
like,
people being like, this is great. This is what we've been waiting for. I'm like, no, this fucking sucks. this movie stinks, man.
I wouldn't say it sucked, but I was like, I don't know if I'm going to rewatch it.
Said it was
though.
interesting.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
okay. I mean, it's holding my attention, and I'm laughing, I'm chuckling, I'm like, oh, this is. We don't see a lot of this. We just don't see a lot of this week to week or year to year and during Oscar season.
Feel good stories for Daniels, the directors, and Michelle Yeoh and Jamie Lee Curtis and the guy from Indiana Jones. I mean, it was great. Lots of great stories.
That's where I land. Is like
I haven't watched it again
I'm
though.
Thrilled that
I haven't heard anybody
exists.
talking about it.
And yeah, like I'll kind of leave it. I'll let these guys have the platform here because I know
Guys,
they've
I
got a lot
just
to
got
say.
word. Aaron Rye was 62 of 66 from 10 feet in this week.
On those crazy greens.
Yeah.
It's great.
I
you know what's
I hate that stat, TC, because I have no idea if that's all 4 foot or, that's a wide range stat.
I mean, 66 putts though, like that's a lot.
Yeah.
Do you want a
He's
stat
a
that you're gonna
Guinness
hit?
Book of World Record holder, TC. That's his shit right there. Guy made 207 of them in a row. That's his light work for him.
You want a stat you're gonna hate, Solly? Scotty hit more greens than Aaron Rye this week.
I don't hate that.
What was the other one I had pulled? Scotty hit 8 more greens than 7 more greens than Alex Smalley as well.
But on this, I don't want to get too far on one side of this. Like putting on sloped greens, especially putts inside 5 feet that are on the edge of the hole, outside the hole, a ton of break on them. That is a skill of golf. I don't want to.
It's a skill that doesn't get
Yes.
asked for outside of maybe once or twice a year. So yeah, all for that.
The things I've said about the setup of this course have been wildly misinterpreted to this point of the week, and I don't want that to get lost. Of like that, I don't think putting is a skill that should be tested. Like Scotty did not deserve to win this tournament. It was not like I think you should get on the green and just you are expected to hole out in 1.6 shots here. That's exactly what you should get here. No, it's a skill that should be tested, and like he failed that test this week. Ludwig failed that test this week on the short putts. Rahm missed a couple shorties in there that might have painted this tournament a different way, and Rye did not. There's a lot of moving parts to a lot of this. I think they're caught between a venue issue and a setup issue with what we ended up getting. I tried to lay this out as best I could on Friday. I was like very gray on it. Like I like Aronimink. I think I want the professional game to be able to go to a place like that. I liked the Saturday, Sunday version of that better than I did the Thursday, Friday version. It felt like the most exciting part of the entire week was the early part of Saturday when the wind lied down a little bit and the pins were a little bit more accessible and guys were on offense and could make things happen. And it just felt like a fun buzz of I don't know what's going to happen. And it kind of felt like we got a little bit back in the blender on Sunday. And I think the PGA of America loves a bunch leaderboard. I think that's more of a flaw.
Kerry Haig's wet dream.
A flaw than I think it is what I like in a lot of major championship golf, which is a really stern test of a big variety of skills. We decidedly did not get that this week. I think a lot of people that watch majors and tune in, especially to majors, care a lot about what that actual score number is in the corner of the leaderboard. I've never been one of those people. I'm not afraid of birdie fest. I think there can be really good tournaments that have a ton of birdies in them. The Masters usually has a lot of birdies in them. And it felt at times like it was hard for the sake of suppressing scoring and that they were afraid of it getting away, which I understand based on the feedback from the players, what we were all thinking going into this and what the data was probably telling them going into it of what happened in 2018. They got dream conditions, wind and firmness. And I think with the wind and the conditions, they could have had slightly friendlier pin positions and had a much better tournament than what they ended up getting. That's not to say it was a complete disaster. I don't believe it was. I just think they erred on the side of hard. I don't think it worked out to create the most exciting golf tournament and the best test of a variety of skills. So I think this was a big spot for them because the last two venues have not been very good, in my opinion. The next few venues, not so good, in my opinion. It was kind of like the one highlight of like a 6-year period. And it just didn't quite live up to, didn't really fully clear the bar for me for what I like in a major championship. I feel like we were holding out to like, all right, back nine Sunday, ton of names in there. This could get really fun. And that didn't materialize. So I'm just kind of, I'm left with an empty feeling a little bit after this major. And I think I'm not the only one.
Neil, I appreciated you talking me through it the other night. That was a very fruitful,
productive
thoughtful,
conversation.
productive conversation.
I'm always here for you, brother.
I think it's true that I don't know what I want out of this tournament. Like I know what I want out of the US Open. I want a complete examination. I don't think I thought this was, it's kind of reminded me of Winged Foot in spots where I didn't feel like we were getting a complete examination or there were just little get out of jail free cards. But I also don't know if you can even have a complete examination at this point with the equipment and all the optimization, unless you're at Shinnecock and the wind is blowing 30 every day and it hasn't rained in 3 weeks, and you're not losing the greens. There's a confluence of things that have to go right. I get it that some people loved this. Like for me, it was more of a venue issue. I just don't think between Rye, he hit awful shots on 18 on Saturday. Awful. Like that should have been a double or worse. And it was just like, no, he's just gonna plod right along or whatever. I don't think there was any downside risk, but I think that's more of a venue issue, not a setup issue. Yeah. I think Aronimink is a delightful course to play for members and such. I don't think it's fit for purpose for a championship golf course. For a variety of reasons. 3 of the top 6 hardest holes this week were the par 3s, I think, which just feels to me like they just, like scoring suppression. So I'm like you, I'm not, I know we joke about the proper test index and all of that. I just want to see shots have consequence and shots have rewards. Right. And I think we just didn't see enough of that on either side this week. And the whole progression of a tournament matters to me. I don't think it should be I know the conditions were harder Thursday, Friday, but they got forecasts. They know that it's going to be cold and windy and all that. Let's it should develop and evolve and grow as the challenge should get more interesting as the week goes along, I think. And I felt like it almost devolved. I would have been fine if they just kept going with the Thursday, Friday stuff.
Can I ask you though? I feel like if I go back to Augusta, this is not supposed to be a gotcha. I'm genuinely curious. They pulled back really hard Thursday at Augusta. And then I remember, you and Randy let's keep pounding, baby. Let's keep, and they pulled back. And same thing with Shinnecock when, the Zach Johnson meme of we totally lost it.
Yeah, I hate it.
I feel like as a listener, you'd be like, well, TC, aren't you telling them you're saying you wish Thursday would be easier?
Yeah, I wish Thursday would be like, hey, here's what you're a little sampling. I'm not against having 6 easy, 6 medium, and 6 hard pins. What the fuck happened to that? Why are we doing these theme days? This is
that's what Kerry you did at the NIT.
No, and I've matured and evolved from that. I think Kerry Haig's turned into a little bit of Mike Davis or Tom Meeks, where it's just doesn't know what this tournament is. I think the part of the reason this tournament doesn't have an identity is because some of the venues that they choose to go to and the way that he sets up some of these golf courses. Was this year 100 times better than Valhalla and Quail Hollow? Absolutely. I'll take this 10 times out of 10 over those. I think Olympic Club will be good in a couple years. I think next year could be a really avant-garde, weird concept album that most people are probably going to hate, but it could be pretty interesting. But I just felt like the whole time, I'm like, why am I not enjoying this? I just couldn't figure out why am I not enjoying this? And I felt like it just felt a little bit reductive as far as the questions being asked with irons, the last few days. And Bacon had a great analogy. We were texting today, And he said, it feels like a transatlantic flight in business class. You're like, man, this is great. I'm up front. I'm the food's good. It's kind of comfortable, good snacks and all that. But you can't really sleep, and you're just kind of like, you know what? I can't wait for this to be over. Like, just get it over with. And that's kind of how I felt like the entire time in this tournament. Like, there were entertaining spots, but the entire time I was just like, I think I hate this.
Can I ask about the downside risk thing? I feel like there's not a lot that we see week to week that has
other than water hazards,
downside risk.
An OB.
Okay. So no spots for like big airs out there. Because I did feel like shots had consequence. That's where I would push back a little bit. I did feel like hitting it in the rough was a consequence. Even though you could run it up on a lot of holes, it
just felt like paper
bogeys are a
cuts.
consequence. And when you can't make a lot of birdies, like those felt
that limits the consequence. So the opening up of the front limits the consequence to the point where you can get on the green and make a lot of pars. Whereas if there were more cutoffs and in theory, again, going hand in hand with slightly easier pins, it's like, oh, if you're in the fairway, it's go time for birdies. Yes, you can get at pins and do that when you cannot afford to do that out of the rough if there's not run-ups. So again, there's run-ups on this golf course, so they got to design around that. Their reaction to that was to make the pins really hard. Then it's like whether you're in the fairway or in the rough, it's still going to be really hard to get close and make birdies, and you're going to end up making a lot of pars, and you're going to end up with a bunch of board.
Let me ask
they got what they set it up for.
I know. And let me ask you a naive question, like a maybe a correlation or causation. I mean, is it like Aaron Rye led the field in driving accuracy? Like, were all these guys playing like idiots? Like you said earlier, like Rory didn't hit the driver well, but there was no reason for him not to hit the driver. Well, is that wrong? Like, should they have been prioritized? It seems like being in the fairway allowed this guy to win by 3.
He was fourth in driving accuracy, which contributed to him being middle of the pack, slightly gaining on the field overall off the tee, like between distance and accuracy. He hit from the spots he was hitting. He played a very good approach shots. So okay. So take this part of the equation. I'll be extreme for this matter. Let's say, no matter what you do, if you hit the green, it's going to go to 30 feet, whether it's from 100 yards or from 170 yards. And I'm being extreme with this, but
sure.
Let's say Rory and Rye are going to probably hit it to the same parts of the green. Their path of getting there, if Rye is from 170, he's going to get a lot more points in strokes gained approach for that, of course, right?
Got it.
And on a setup that wouldn't force balls to the same general area, in theory, like Rory would just gain on Rye by hitting it closer from the up close distance. So you see what I mean? You're like, you can gain a lot on the field from farther back with this kind of setup, just by hitting the green from 234 yards, like he did on 15. Like he hit it's not fluky what he did. Like
but I also feel like there's like a mental component to that. Like guys playing out of the rough, it just seems like it wears on the patience. And I don't know if there's a strokes gained stat for patience and frustration.
Well, I would also throw in, Neil, like thick rough, big wind, and firm greens as well. It's like you heard a lot of guys talking about, like, if you're not in the fairway, you can't control your spin. And you're trying to hit into all these, you're trying to take a slope, or you're trying to, stop a wedge downwind. Like you do have to be in the fairway.
Because I felt like watching,
I think there's a much bigger advantage to being in the fairway than not.
Top 6 guys. Nobody else but Rye was top 25 in driving accuracy.
Okay. As a viewer, though, I did find myself, I guess, just talking about your enjoyment, TC, versus mine. I felt like the ball was moving on the ground with the cant of these fairways, and I was like, "Ooh, is that going to roll into the rough?" Like the rough, whether or not the stats prove it out, for me, for my eye test, I was like, the rough is having an impact. I'm like, oh, if that gets in the rough, that means that changes his whole mindset on this hole. It goes from like, hey, maybe this is an opportunity. Now, where you guys, I did write a note down where I was a little bit like, okay, I kind of see what these guys are talking about. Number 10, John Rahm, absolutely dispatches one down the fairway.
You don't have to hate this.
He's got 130 yards in, gap wedge, and it's not often that you see him. He hit it to like 25. He aimed like 30 feet left to the center of that green. That pin was an absolute no-go. And that's like, okay, now I can understand why this is like, it's making it hard for anybody. Like it's not rewarding the skill of that drive. Rahm is, not dumb enough to try to flag that one. So I'm like, okay, that's tough. But I'm also like, man, it is kind of, for me, it's kind of made me laugh of like, man, how often do you see John Rahm try to hit the ball 30 feet left when he's got a gap wedge in his hand? You know what I mean? So maybe I'm just celebrating that this was different.
I think you're super close to this, Neil. And I think like, I kind of had the same feeling of you when watching a ball. Is it going to stay in the fairway or not? Because your birdie opportunity was going to come from the fairway. But again, you can get mad at data all you want. I'm not talking to you specifically, but people in general could roll their eyes at this of like, they're going to record every shot hit from the fairway and every one from the rough, and you can come up with an estimate of what the penalty is for being in the rough. And the penalty for being in the rough, the last that I looked at it, was much less than a normal PGA Tour event. Even if the rough's thick and it's hard to get close to the hole, what you just said is what makes the penalty of that rough go down to like whether or not you're in the fairway or in the rough. Yeah. You can kind of hit to the middle of the green, and we're both going to kind of play from there and figure it out.
Yeah.
And I'm getting word from our producer that Rahm pulled the shit out of that one on 10. So
he did, but you couldn't miss right. He missed right of that pin on 10.
Yeah.
From the fairway, and he like also was like not going to make that mistake again. So
a couple of things. I think Rye's wedge play is kind of the antidote to some of the strokes gain stuff of like, yeah, he also like hit it better with his wedges than some of the other guys that were driving it farther than him when he had wedges in his hand. So to your point, like you look at the top, like honestly, shout out to the PGA Championship website. It's like very easy to stack and sort. Like it's been a good website all week. There seems to be a much stronger correlation between the top 5, top 10 finish here this week and putting than anything else. Like it's crazy looking at this. Like just go to the website and sort it and stack it that way. And like, I'm not trying, like, I don't know if I'm right about this. Neil, you say often, like, we're not experts at golf. We're experts about telling people how we feel about golf. We're experts in our opinions. I'm just giving my opinion that like for whatever reason, I can't figure out why, but like that wasn't for me this week. And in like, it was a grand stage. The crowds were out there, the Philly fans, like high golf IQ, like it was like all the ingredients were there. And so for me, it's a little bit of that meme of like, I don't know what any of this shit is. And I'm so confused. I'm scared, kind of, right? Of like, I don't know why I didn't enjoy it. I just fucking didn't, guys.
Can I?
I'm scared.
Let me float one thing, because I think this ties into what is the PGA Championship? What is the identity? Because I think if this exact tournament had the white tee markers and the red pin flags and the USGA flags flying on the grandstands, I honestly feel like it would be a little different. If you came into it knowing like, this is the US Open, we're going to suppress this, we're going to protect par, I think people are almost more pre-approved to be like, oh, this is what this is about.
This is what they do.
And I get it. And Solly, you might feel similarly about everything you're saying, but I just even mean like on the macro level, I feel like you're mentally in a different place. Whereas at the PGA Championship, I don't think you really know what to expect. And I think when they go to Frisco next year, it's going to be totally different. When they go to Olympic, it's going to be totally different. When they went to Valhalla, it's totally different. When they go to Whistling Straits, it's totally different. And that's up to you. You can see that as a feature or a bug that like, we're going to follow our nose and the tournament's going to be whatever it's going to be. But I think as a fan, that makes it hard to know what you're in for. Because when I go to the Masters and it rains or it doesn't blow or whatever, I'm like, amen corner is amen corner. What's he going to do on 15? Where's the pin on 16? When I go to the Open, I'm like, well, the wind didn't blow, but hey, that's links golf, tip your cap to Colin Morikawa or whoever. With this event, it's like, it's just hard to know what you're going to get. And so I don't know
your cap to carry Haig because he was in a bad mood this morning.
So I don't know what my question is, I guess, other than I don't know how you change that when you're going to so many different venues, when you're going to a lot of these venues that are just wildly different from each other. I think the US Open identity is taken. And I think when you try to do a bootleg US Open, I think people bump.
Not as good venue.
People bump on that a little bit. I kind of weirdly am leaning back towards like maybe the PGA Championship should take some of that. TC, cover your ears if you want, but you know what seems to work is Belle Reeve and Beth Page and
honestly,
some of
at this point, I'm for it, man.
Like some of the I don't know.
They should be closer to the players than the US Open, I think. Like the players is not afraid of low scores. It's par 72. It's got birdies. you're getting like a diet. This setup's like a diet US Open with all of the challenge kind of being around the greens. Whereas like US Open challenges are carnage and fun from like tee to green. Like you can miss in comically bad spots off the tee. You can make massive numbers. You never know what's going to happen at the good US Opens. And I feel like I said it was going to be a birdie fest. I think I said 20 under might get threatened going to this week. Listen, guys, that was off. I was wrong about that. But I think I would have preferred that over. I think that may have come off like that's a super like derogatory thing to say about this course and this tournament and this setup. Like that's not necessarily the case. Look, there's bad versions of birdie fest where it's like you can't make bogeys at all, but it didn't feel like they got the mix right. It felt like they got dream conditions. And it could have still been a really I don't know. I'm so back and forth on this of whether or not I think Aronimink's like a good is major worthy venue. My heart says yes, but like my brain is telling me like, dude, everything looking at you in the face is saying it's too short.
My
and like,
body's telling me yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, a little bit. What I push back with there with both you and Deej a little bit is I'm comparing this more to the PGA Tour that we see week to week. And what I was trying to say to you on Friday, TC, was I'm happy that they're erring on we're missing on the right side of like, I would like to see it challenging. And yeah, maybe this was too challenging in certain parts of the game. Like I'm with you on the argument you're making that it turned into a putting contest. I understand that. But I liked seeing these guys a little frustrated and like, I agree. The kind of throw your hands up attitude is enough. That might be good enough for me because it's like, yeah, man, I'm not seeing that a lot, at the Cognizant anymore. Like down it used to be at Palm Beach. Don't see it anymore. Don't see it any fucking where on the PGA Tour, even at the Players. And so it's
I think
two US Opens, a diet and a regular. I'll drink a Diet Coke too. I like regular and Diet Coke.
High school DC.
US Open 0.
Yeah, Sully, I
hope you're
to
happy.
Your point on the I think when you have really firm greens like they were lucky enough to have this week, I don't think you need to go fucking overboard with the pins. It's like that's where Neil, like when the ball got on the ground, I don't think
that's fine.
I don't think anything good was going to happen when the ball got on the ground and started moving a lot on those greens because it wasn't going to end up in one of the high spots, right? Yeah. Where like one of the best parts of the tournament yesterday was like when Goddard just fucking airmailed 11 green. Like, and I think that we would have seen more of that if guys are like trying to play creatively or use a slope or a bank over here. And it was just like, no, guys were like, no, I have to hit the shot. Like I have to hit this exact shot,
Yeah, you could, I'll find community with you on maybe some, not funnel pins, but where the slopes are helping you on select holes. We could have managed that a little bit better for some more fireworks, but overall, I just think that I'm still erring on the side of like, I don't know if I'll rewatch this movie, but I will look back fondly on the fact that I did.
What do you think you're going to remember most from this week? I want to stress test what you're saying there a little bit.
Probably the discourse, honestly. Like the fact that people got like so heated. People are like, oh my, this course setup. I don't think this conversation's ever been so fraught. So like that'd be some of it, Deej. I'll remember I thought the course is striking. The tee shot on 8 is one that I'll think about. The 11th hole is like a very memorable golf hole. And TC, to your point, I think it could have been set up to be really fun one day. Or I kind of felt like we got the same vibe there all 4 days, and that felt like a hole that could play very differently. But I don't know if you agree. If that I don't want to go with, like you said, theme day might not be what you're looking for.
It's also, what you like in a golf tournament is massively subjective. Why the discourse this week seemed to be like attacks on people's opinions of what they like about a golf. I'm not telling anybody else how to feel about this. I'll tell you how I feel about it, but I'm not telling anybody else how to. That was the bizarre part of like, whoa.
Cody, can you flash the image up? Like, this is how I felt.
Deej,
I don't know what any of this shit is, and I'm fucking scared. Like
about
I don't know what to expect. I don't know what to hope for from this tournament. And maybe that's what Terry Clark's here to solve. Is, you know what? Yeah, we do need an identity, and we're going to look at how to fix this.
Yeah.
Hey, Deej, one thing before I know we're trying to move off of this and to help Neil out a little bit. What I think I'll remember outside of the overall discourse is that when we came in this morning, you saw JT executing the shots. And I think that's where it's missing for a large group of us. And his score matched that. And then you had Fitz and Noren come along, and then Kitayama, and then Rai. They executed the shots. They made the putts. And I feel like Rahm, watching him down, like it felt like every putt of John Rahm's was just short. And they're all online. And I don't know what or why that was. But like truly, I feel like Aaron Rai is the deserving winner of this championship because he executed it the best.
I don't think anybody's
Totally agree.
disputing that. I think the dissonance a little bit comes from when you see guys executing the shots, and like that's great, and then you see a bunch of dudes not executing the shots down the stretch, and then also not getting carnage or variability down the stretch when people don't execute the shots.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure. I think you said another thing really smartly earlier, TC, when you're talking about misses, like right off of the fairway, how penal that was versus half of Cam's drives today were so far left that you're like, he was getting rewarded because of it, because they're deep in galleries and everything else like that. So I don't know.
Course time, baby. Let's talk trees.
I don't know if we need to talk trees. Maybe close.
Yeah.
No, I think you're right about
I
the,
think so. Well,
the seeing guys hit shots. That's sorry. What'd you say?
I think we do need to talk trees, right?
maybe not trees, maybe clothes. Speaking of clothes, our friends at Holderness and Bourne got their spring color palette. It is out. It is in stores. It is in shops. It is online at hbgolf.com. Tangerine, Tudor, Vista Blue, the Belmont, etc. You know these. Now is the time to stock up on some bottoms. The Harwood short, the Anson pant, and the McDaniel pant, some of our favorites. Some of their off-course activewear as well. The new Saunders short is fantastic. It's great for the gym, your run, lounge. If you like working from home, if you work from home, nothing like a good pair of shorts, especially in the summer. A nice, comfortable pair that looks nice. So I love the Saunders short. They also have the new Swing Knit collection. These are the off-course performance button-downs. If you do not work from home, if you go into an office and you want that polished look of a dress shirt with the comfort of your favorite polo, it pairs perfectly with chinos or jeans for office days, casual get-togethers, weekend travel, and the most important thing, no dry cleaning required. I hated going to the dry cleaners back when I had an office job. It's got easy care. It's got great stretch. It just feels like you're wearing pajamas. The U.S. Open collection is also live. And if you want, you can use code NLU10 for 10% off at hbgolf.com. This is still the only discount code on the market. Holderness and Bourne, hbgolf.com. Code NLU10 will get you 10% off. They got a great lineup there.
Don't sleep on the T-shirts either. It's my travel
t-shirts.
go-to. I'm
Great
wearing the
t-shirts.
Geiger shirt as well in Harbor, and this is it's like an agave little tequila plant print. It's sweet.
I love it. I was going to ask what that print was. I like that. There you go.
Yeah, this hoodie one's one of my favorite as well. Got great stuff. hbgolf.com.
Cody's got a great hoodie on. He's got the Heather Harbor hoodie on,
That is a good one.
or Sullivan quarter snap on tonight. Gorgeous.
TC, do we have a Fedora 5 tonight?
We don't have a Fedora 5 tonight, guys. I just didn't think the results were.
Throw it out.
I thought we had an extremely deserving champion and a good leaderboard. I couldn't make sense of it all, and it just didn't jive with our models and what we look for at the Fedora 5 foundation, if you will. So
Sure.
I loved this from the PGA Tour. We're flashing if the gloves fit, and then a picture of Rai. And listen, if the gloves fit, then like you can't acquit, right? You have to guilty as charged. He's the champion, instead of.
We're living in a weird time, man. Weirdest major I can remember.
Must be somebody running the
super weird.
socials that aren't old enough to remember the OJ trial.
Yeah, just
You know what?
Yeah.
It wasn't weird enough. Like it wasn't.
Yeah.
There's nothing funny happened this week. Like there was like some majors usually something funny happens, weird shit happens. It was so weird and that it was so muted. I don't know if there's anybody to blame for that either. It just was like, dude, like Rory kicked a fan out today. That was One
Really?
of the only
Yeah,
controversial
on,
things
my-
in 16.
One of my fellow Birds fans.
Yeah, I think your birds were
Yeah.
fans were getting a little chippy out there.
Rory's a diehard Jets fan. I think he just had enough.
That's what it was. Well, TC, you got anything else for us?
Yeah, I've got 5 things that I loved from this week. All right, year of rejoicing.
Year of rejoicing.
Wanted to just, I'm a positive creature. I'm optimistic and all of that, and I wanted to just bring that energy to the live show tonight. So, first of all, I want to give a shout out to Ken Brown.
This is
Ken
good.
Brown was awesome all week, and I don't know how he's not more of a staple on, just generally speaking, on broad. Like that's exactly what early round coverage should look like. Teach me something, make me laugh a little bit, be pithy, show us the golf course a little bit, give us some previews of what we're going to see that day. It was great. So
this is I don't want to step on you if you got any CBS stuff. I thought CBS was great today, considering
today they were great. I thought they were
had to face.
They evolved. Yeah, like that's the other thing. Like Kerry Haig he set him up for failure. Like I don't know, like CBS, I don't know how you're supposed to cover 35 guys being in the mix. Right?
Well, what I was going to say is the stuff every time Ken Brown's involved, the stuff that I learned about the golf course comes from the segments that he does, which is where I'm like, man, how does more of that not make it into the broadcast from week to week? Even at, I don't know, TBC Twin Cities, at whatever.
You have Johnson Wagner now.
Well, Johnson Wagner was awesome. I would call that out as well, specifically like him walking with Rory's group every time. It was hard. Again, this is where I'm not trying to step on CBS because they're trying to go just golf shot to cover all these people that are in
today.
contention.
They didn't get off the bus yesterday quick enough.
But every time they could linger on Johnson, he was great. But to your point about Ken Brown, I'm like, man, the best stuff I learned was, Scotty hitting the shots into, like, the way he was shaping shots, the little thing about the pin on 8, the par 3 from Ken Brown. It was just, can't co-sign that enough. He was great, and if we can do any more of that stuff on any other broadcast, I will watch it.
Somebody said TC's gonna wake up at 3 a.m. screaming Kerry Haig. That's what the spelling should be of Kerry Haig. HGUE.
HAGUE.
Yeah, the Haig. Send him to the Haig.
All right, what's number 2?
Number 2,
Kerry Haig too.
just Philly in
Gary
general.
Clark and Kerry Haig. That was great.
Philly in general, my people, man, just good people up there. High IQ golf fans. The roast pork sandwich this week, baller. Loved it. Give me more of it.
Can I just say I will a lot of post shot shouts, a lot of bad ones. I just want to call that out. I mean, you're gonna get that anywhere,
PGA
but
Championship
just a lot of those. So
how do we feel about the Eagles chants out there?
It's so rich.
Love
What
them,
I liked about it
obviously.
was different every hole. Like that was the best part of it. It was just, haven't heard this yet. See, a lot of people don't know they were doing that at Scotty because he's a Cowboys fan and that's their rival.
Did you guys see Dak? Big Dak news this week. We won't get into that. We're not
Listen to that.
TMZ.
Just go over to the transfer after that.
Number 3, the greens having slope. This wasn't Valhalla. This wasn't Quail Hollow. This wasn't TPC Harding Park. These greens had slope. They had character. Was it used properly? Maybe not, but they had slope.
They did.
Cannot deny it.
100% agree.
Number 4, bumper music. I thought ESPN and CBS did an awesome job all week with the bumper music. I know that's hard. They got to do that ahead of time. They got to get the rights. They got to pay for all that music and stuff. They had some country bangers. They had all sorts of.
Oh, they had the Roots, and they had their.
Yeah.
I think they hit us with Kenny Loggins a couple times, which
It was
that always
the
catches my
range
attention.
was unbelievable, both on ESPN and on CBS. So I thought they did a great job with that. Shout out to the producers, whoever the musical director was.
I believe it was Joe Carpenter from our mutual source when we were shouting that out on a text thread.
On ESPN, I believe.
Oh,
It
he was
Joe
on ESPN.
Carpenter.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So, and listen, I thought Sellers was a little shy about showing golf shots early on Saturday, and they got into the rhythm a little bit more, but sticking with Rory a little bit too long on some of the walks and just, I thought the T-Mobile camera was bad. Anyway, this is positive stuff. Lastly, number 5, P. Just having him back, his attitude, his quotes in the pressers, his shirts, all of
His
it.
shirt was
His shot making.
outrageous.
P
today.
rules.
I feel
Get him
I'm
on the
very,
President's Cup team.
very glad I stood up to you, P Simps, last night. You guys were getting really carried away. It happened at the Masters too, and I'm just glad we didn't all get swept up in all that.
I had fun.
Even par 70 today.
He shot -3 on the weekend. It wasn't his best golf, but he was greasy all week, man. He was 4 in approach play. He was 6th in tee to green. His putter let him down this week, which is shocking.
Can't have a wrong week for that.
Shinnecock's gonna be another good fit. It's gonna be another good fit for
TC,
P.
what are you gonna do? Tommy or
I mean, if it was down to P versus Tommy, I think that's it. I don't need to follow golf anymore after that. Like, that's the mountaintop, baby.
How do you convince yourself that Tommy's a great fit for Shinnecock right now?
I think he's a great fit for Shin. I think
he
he
has a
was
course
conserving
record
his
out there.
energy this week. We don't have to talk about that tonight.
And also, to be fair, he convinced himself of that like 4 years ago. Just hasn't moved off of that. When they announced it was going to Shinnecock.
Honorable mention. I love the fly private jet thing on Matty Schmidt's hat. Very direct, very efficient.
That was great. Oh, that was marvelous. That's a good list. Good list.
Thank you. And Neil, shout out to your homies at the PGA of America. I think they managed through a tough logistical week with ingress and egress. Obviously there's food that's not free, but that is included.
It is included
in the
it's a nice experience.
The cost of attendance. And honestly, also shout out to ESPN for no Jason Kelsey this week.
Step in the right direction.
That would have been a layup for them. I know he was on site, and they told him thanks, but no thanks, Jason. Thank you, ESPN.
Nothing against Kelsey. I just oversaturated.
It's a lot.
Yeah, sure.
It was a challenging venue. You guys tell me, did it feel a little muted out there? Like some of the drone shots I know are pretty high up. Like it just didn't feel like the crowds were that big today
or
this weekend. Like it felt buzzy on Thursday being out there, but I don't know. I mean, I guess we didn't really have the moments. I guess 17 kind of gave us the big moment with Rahm making the putt, but just felt a little muted out there
when it's all 30-foot putts for par there or for birdie that are missing.
And I'm the bad guy here.
Maybe people were upset about Don Ray not being there.
It's possible.
It's also possible they didn't have as many tickets, Solly. Like
that's what I'm asking. Like I wonder
property. You know what I mean? But I don't think it wasn't noticeable to me. Like it was. It didn't feel like unattended or like, oh man, nobody cares. I didn't get that sense on TV.
Any other birdies and bogeys? Just kind of empty in the notebook. Things you liked, things you didn't like. Anyone that wants to shout them out.
I got a bogey. Blocky not being there on the weekend. Like Deej, we were texting about it a little bit yesterday morning of just have Blocky out there on one of the par threes, doing it closest to the pin with the guys.
Growing the game. I think, the pace is going to be slow when the wind is up. Have him out there hitting trick shots or something. I couldn't agree more.
He's doing a stand-up comedy routine on every tee box anyway.
He was doing like a legit Bill Murray at Pebble Beach for a while this week. It was great.
I would shout out Justin Rose, 65, 69 on the weekend. Another top 10 in the major while he's doing some live testing of new clubs. I mean, the guy's, it's impressive stuff.
He was on the softs this weekend.
This is a random one. And this is the PGA Tour simping me, but a birdie for the Players Championship.
I think that's right, man. I know that was one of my takeaways as well. And this is, it comes back to identity. It comes back to a lot of things, but I'm inching closer and closer. I'm not quite to where Brandel is, but I'm kind of laughing less at the fifth major, what feels biggest tournaments in golf type of conversation.
Fifth major or fourth major?
Well, that's where that was going to be the end of my sentence. Is like I don't think I'm not looking to add a fifth, but I'm interested in a little competitive starvation or a little a competition for QB4 here. If I'd love to see both of the players in the PGA kind of maybe we have an open tryout next year. What you guys you tell me what's better, players or PGA Frisco gets to be a major going forward?
Well, Deej, especially if in the next, like if the PGA Tour sets up Sawgrass appropriately again, like they did this year,
Yeah.
and if as has been widely reported, they add some more slope back into the greens and some teeth back into the golf course, like sign me the fuck up, man.
And by the Marriott.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and by the Sawgrass and connected to the Intracoastal Waterway.
Yeah.
I got a bogey, Mav McNeely this weekend.
I
I
know.
thought Mav was primed. His swing, just didn't quite have his swing. He was wayward off the tee, caught up with him. But I was hoping at least for a top 10, like first top 10 in a major for him, because I think he's one of those guys that just incrementally improves every year, similar to like an Aaron Rai of like he's got to get comfortable, he's got to get his feet under him, and then he's going to take another step forward the next year, another step forward. And I think he was T18 at the Masters, he was T18 at the PGA. I thought that was a pretty ripe opportunity for him this weekend. That, good experience, but need to see more.
I got a bogey. I put a couple nuggies on Nick Taylor to not have a bogey today.
So just to clarify, you thought he was going to go bogey free the whole weekend?
Yeah, I figured why not? He did it yesterday. Why not? Hot hand. And he did on the front nine, 1 under, and then he bogeyed 10, 13, 14, 15, 17, and 18. So
It's like once the mega vote has ended, then he's like, well, now it's over.
You'd rather make a lot of bogeys than just one, though. Like if you're going to miss
exactly.
the bet,
So I thought that was funny. That was like a true bogey. A lot of bogeys there.
I would shout out Birdie Padraig Harrington finishing in the top 20. I think he was like the oldest player to finish in the top 20 at a PGA since Sam Snead, I believe, if I'm reading this right. Just an unbelievable force of nature. Padraig Harrington continues to be, made an eagle today on 16, birdied the last hole. Just delightful stuff.
Well, we didn't talk about him. Just real quick, the experience. You guys have any parting thoughts, Deej?
No, I picked him.
I'm more hopeful than ever.
Come on.
I will not unsee what we saw from the driver. That's exciting when you start talking about US Opens that are probably different than what Shinnecock's going to be, but still, that would be a nice skill set to have for the next couple of years. But listen, I picked him at the Masters for very specific reasons, because course knowledge matters, and people who've played the Masters a lot tend to rise. I did not pick him this week.
I
thought you were just doing it for fun. Like
we were tying a bow on that. That's all,
Yeah.
just for the listeners' sake.
Oh, real quick though, I think if you're into the
Who did you pick at the Masters, Neil?
The big golfer, the former big golfer.
Interesting.
And I regret it every day, DJ.
I called his name, didn't I?
I hold myself in contempt. Okay, nobody hates me more than me. Okay.
I really thought you were just picking him like for entertainment's sake and for fun's sake. You thought he was really going to win?
I guess I could have picked Scotty Scheffler. That would have been fun.
No, okay. But that is more in line with what I thought you were doing. I'm like, that'd be boring to actually try to predict the winner.
Top 12, man. Gets in next. Gets in
Guys,
next
real
year.
quick, in all seriousness, like I don't think you could have watched golf this week and not thought, holy shit, this was a big step in the right direction. Like he was third in tee to green this week.
Man.
He looked awesome off the tee. Putter looked fucking rancid, so we got to get that figured out.
That's exactly why you can't feel that way, TC. Man, the magic.
No,
of the
but I
putter's
felt
gone.
so much better about his shot making and his ball striking than I felt in like 3 years.
We're building something.
Yeah,
The
We
putting's
just- I
got
don't know
to
if we
fill
have
in.
the
though, man.
foundation.
Putting's got to fill in.
Yeah.
putter's it's got to get hot one of these.
Oh,
weeks.
we've been saying that for 9 years. Come on,
No, but the
guys.
ball striking wasn't as good the last
So
5
close.
year or so.
We know he has the minerals, but maybe
Yeah.
not the bottle, and it may have ran out of metal.
So fucking close.
I don't know, guys. I don't
Little
know.
smash and grab 65 from Matt Fitzpatrick today. I totally missed that.
Yeah, how about that?
Super. We do not have to do this tonight, but I just went right into the record for a bogeys. Just the governing bodies with the distance thing. Just and not, you can say what you want about Rye, with it, the ball running. Like he carried his drive 294 on 18, and he's one of the shortest guys in golf. Like that has contributed to a lot of the problems we discussed tonight. So don't have to do it, but just need to write into the record.
Just everybody involved, not just the governing bodies. Everybody.
Yeah.
The tour, the OEMs,
Including
everybody.
me. I hold
Don't need to do
myself
it.
in contempt.
Yeah.
Deej.
That's right. Everybody gets a bogey.
Sounds like a bunch of athletes out there, guys. Let's give a little bit of shop credit away real quick before we transition to the next one, if we could.
Sure.
Of course, please. I'm going to give 2 codes away, Neil, if you allow me tonight.
Of course.
We appreciate everybody tuning in all week long. Of course, as Sully usually says, please hit that thumbs up below, like and
Don't blame
subscribe
me.
wherever you're at.
Cody is saying hit the subscribe button. I'm not
Always makes
saying
Cody say that.
We all want you to not subscribe. That's all he's telling. He thinks you should.
Tito. 8886, winner
Thank
number
you,
one.
Tito.
Shoot
Thank
me
you, Tito.
a message, Cody at nolayingup.com. We're just going to do it right now. Fuck it.
Giving away 2?
Yeah, might as well.
Is it gonna be Glasper 2743? Email Cody, and he'll get you some shop credit. Thank you for being in the live chat and being here live. What's next?
Hey, I see what you guys did earlier. You bumped going down the leaderboard up in the agenda, but you only gave me like 90 seconds to actually.
Well,
We
was
didn't actually
the
go
top
down
10.
the leaderboard.
No,
Okay.
most of the down the leaderboard is not actually the top 10.
Real quick, did we learn anything from Cam Young this weekend?
He was sick. He was sick.
Was
Apparently.
he sick?
Yeah.
So we learned that. I just learned that.
Yeah. I just saw a tweet about that. I don't know if that was half the tweets are lies anyways, but that he was on antibiotics or something this week. So under the weather.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Top, what did he, 25th or something? 30th?
26th. Tied for
yeah.
26th.
Feels like the absolute floor for him right now, obviously.
Did we learn anything about Patrick Cantlay this weekend?
You guys are like pretending like I thought he was going to win by 12 or something. I was just alerting you guys so your houses didn't get blown away.
No, but you don't need to. The winds were like
you
5 miles
you can
an
ignore
hour.
it. You can be the guy that's like, I'm not leaving. You have no idea the storms I've seen roll through this place. I'm not getting out of I'm not evacuating.
You got to trust your meteorologist. I've lost
job.
trust in you. There's no reason to alert us on Cantlay this week. There was no
getting
chance.
nasty comments today about being a sensationalist, being
Yes.
like some of the Weather Channel people who are just trying to keep you on the channel. I was just trying to alert anybody that it could be happening, and it was happening for 40 holes,
Never happening.
42 holes, something like that. And then obviously the storm passed and he finished T35. So congratulations to him on his T35 finish. Thank you, TC.
I want to just call attention to Taylor Pendrith shooting 4 over on the first 2 days and then a little smash and grab on the weekend, a little 67, 71. Corey Connors really faded. Brooks faded today. Disappointing Sunday from Brooks. Double on 17 late there. Expected more from Sahith. Both the Højgaard twins made the cut. Just want to shout that out. Final round 69 from our captain LD. And then
that's not nothing. Straight, he's like a part-time player. I mean, that's pretty badass. Step up and make the cut in a major.
I circle back on Brooks just to say, like, I think following him the next couple of weeks ahead of Shinnecock's going to be super interesting. Just like looking for a sign of life with the putter and getting to a place that he's won before. And I not a good finish. T55, not been great, but I'm still monitoring the Brooks situation. I think there's some fight left in the old boy.
Do we think Brooks plays CJ Cup in Colonial because he's not getting in a Memorial, right?
Where's he on the next 10, TC? I can't believe I gotta look that up.
Is he even eligible for the next 10? I think as you guys are looking that up, also want to give a shout out to Ben Kern. Ben Kern shooting 77, 72 on the weekend, beating the great man Brian Campbell by 5 on the weekend after one of the worst rounds of golf anybody's ever seen in the history of golf. Brian Campbell's Saturday 82. So also beat Michael Brennan this week too. Finished solo 80th. Brennan finished 81st.
Through last week, Brooks is he's currently the 7th person on the Aon Swing 5. So
he's got to play well.
Got to play well at CJ Cup, which is, I don't know that I'll be watching super closely, but that's an interesting storyline.
What a place to remember the 5.
Remember the Swing 5.
TPC, Craig James.
New and improved.
Deep cut.
What else we got? Much of anything?
I thought it may be worth looking ahead a little at some future sites for the PGA Championship. For those that aren't familiar, it's going to PGA Frisco next year, the East Course, designed by Gil Hance. This is in Frisco, Texas. So like almost it's a week later next year. It's May 20th through 23rd. Just kind of getting as close to the Texas summer as you possibly can for that date. It's going to be interesting. I mean, it's an interesting golf course. The aesthetics are like a 1 out of 10, I think, just in surrounding areas and the colors and the landscape. I think it is going to be jarring for a lot of people that watch it and are going to just hate it from the first time they lay eyes on it. There's we've talked about this before. When you go to a Chambers Bay, when you go to an Aaron Hills, when you go to these courses that do not have a ton of history of hosting major championships and do not have like memberships, players are a lot less shy about their opinions on this. So I think there's quite an opportunity for quite a lot of bit of bitching going into next year as well. I don't know what's going to happen. I like the golf course. I think it's a good golf course. I think it's challenging. I think it has strong elements to it. If they get some wind, if they get some firmness, there's a lot. It could be a nice, solid test. I think everything I just laid out, though, is going to probably contribute to it not being one of the most spectacular venues we've seen for this championship. So
we'll see.
I'm happy we're going somewhere different.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not gonna prejudge it. Certainly not a year in advance. I find it very interesting that it is a resort course and they're pushing people through there, and a lot of people go play it, but it is pretty purpose built to host major championships,
right?
Which I think puts a lot of pressure on it, to see how it hosts a major championship. But it also, should theoretically, there's no shortage of land out there. There's no shortage of space. They can push that thing way back. We are not going to be having is this place too short conversation next year. It's just it's interesting for a lot of reasons that are different than, Shinnecock and Augusta and Sawgrass and all those places are interesting. It's interesting because it's an unknown.
Yeah. It's purpose built, and they had to switch the finishing holes for the ladies. There's some bad holes out there. There's some really good holes out there. I think it's a little bit uneven, and I think maybe if you got a free roll, and they should probably be building more championship golf courses these days if things keep trending the way that they are. And I think overall, I think people are going to be disappointed that, hey, this was purpose built to host major championships, and this is what we got a little bit.
We'll see. That very well may happen. I'm going to try my hardest to dig my heels on not preconditioning myself on that, but it is a lot of Sawgrass talk today. But you heard Brian Rollap, you heard the setup committee, you heard the players talk a lot at the players about, man, it's nice to own this place. We can do whatever the hell we want for our championship at this place. PGA of America has the same luxury next year. Again, there's no excuses next year if it doesn't go well. No. Is where you should be. This is where you decide. You choose your own adventure. If you're an optimist or a pessimist, right? If you're an optimist, that's the bull case. It's
gonna be interesting.
There's no restrictions. They should be able to do whatever they want, but we'll see.
There has been a lot of changes too. I will say that since you guys have last seen it, all the tee boxes went through. They're all leveled now. None of the long ribbons that you get some downhill, side hill things like that.
I like it like that.
I think they have. They put in a ton of trees too, well placed trees, but I think it's like up into 75 or 80 trees. New tee boxes, TC on 9 and 18, so they don't have to flip them like they did for the KPMG. Okay. They listening to feedback, and for a property that they own, I think that's the best thing that you could say.
And adding some trees would be good. I mean, they're going to need some shade out there for people that are attending this. I think that was
the consideration more than any strategy with the trees, right, Cody?
Correct.
Yeah,
good.
I think 2 is a really cool hole. I think 10 through 13 or 14, 10 through 14 is going to be fascinating. That par 5, the blind par 5 and the long par 3 there.
15's awesome. The short
really
cool
cool shit out there.
Yeah.
Speaking of trees, something that I'll remember from this week, Neil, is your conversation with Gil. Gil getting dumped on about all the trees at Aronimink being cut down. He's
Gil,
like, I didn't do it.
I mentioned this on Thursday, but I was the right side of 2. Ludwig and Bryson both blew it into the hospitality tents, and I'm standing over there waiting for Bryson to hit, and I look to my right, and it's Gil. I was like, "Oh, Gil, what's up, man?" And we were talking for a minute, and I go, "Hey, just curious, have they taken a lot of trees out since it was here in 2018?" He was like, No, man, all those trees came out in 2010, like 5 years before I even started working on this place. He's like, now some of them are dying. You know, the ash trees are getting crushed up there, Deej, and the red oaks. But he was like, I'm getting flamed for this tree thing. I don't know. I had nothing to do with it. So I got a kick out of that.
After Frisco, we're going to Olympic Club, Smalley. We're going back to Baltusrol. We're going to Congressional, which will have been redone since the last time we saw it on the men's side, certainly. Kiowa, Southern Hills.
Sorry, just pause. Congressional will be the first one under the quote rolled back golf ball in 2030. For the
True. Kiowa, Southern Hills, Bethpage, back to Frisco, and then Oak Hill. So there you have it. A mix of stuff, some familiar names, some new stuff. Pretty PGA.
This will be first time back to Olympic Club since they redid it.
Yeah.
I think Olympic Club's better.
And Baltusrol next year.
I think Olympic Club's an interesting test. I don't know if it's exciting, but it's an interesting test because all the side hill lies and stuff. I don't know. I'm trying to be optimistic.
Saw anything else?
Not really. No, I think yeah, what a freaking weird major, man. It I don't but the weirdest one since we probably started covering them, I think. I don't know what the second one would be of just maybe felt like the most random possible final result and the weirdest route of getting there and weirdest viewing week. I don't know. Harmon maybe a little bit felt that way at Liverpool, but maybe just because he's way out in front. I don't know. It's just a really, really, really weird week. And I had a great time. I had a great time up there in person and great time walking the grounds. Didn't have the most fun I've had watching it on television Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, though. Which,
as we said earlier, I think takes nothing away from deserving champion. Guy who hit the shots, Neil.
Aaron Rye, major champion. That's the world we're going to live in forever.
It takes adjustment. You know, we didn't have it on the board.
I mean, it's very similar to Spawn at Oakmont last year. Like similar statistical profile, similar, just all the way around. Totally. Different tests than we thought we were going to get. Yeah. Maybe a little contrived.
It felt less sudden with Spawn because we saw. I mean, he won prior in the year and almost won the Players as well. And it was like, yeah, this guy's on a. It was a surprise win. Don't get me wrong, but it was less random. I think Rye was 250 to 1 in a lot of places going into this week. Like,
just a reminder that sports aren't simulated. AI hasn't come for these yet,
except for the 2016 PGA Baltusrol.
Exactly,
except for that one, of course.
It is, man. It's. It would rule if you bet on Aaron Rye this week.
My brother-in-law did.
Really?
Yeah, $6,000.
Just,
really?
Imagine
how many other guys did he bet on?
I haven't asked him that, but he sent me a screenshot. I was like, oh fuck, man, that's sick.
He lost $11,000 in bets, but he won on Aaron Rye.
I had 2 bets this week: Ludwig and Goddard.
Imagine placing that bet and then just hearing all these guys in the press room say, "Oh God, we're gonna wail." You have no idea how hard we're gonna hit the drivers this week. Like you said, that's why they don't. That's why they play the games, Neil.
Why they play? It's not a simulation.
We got a question from Vic Vinegar 17. This one cuts so deep. Is Ludwig closer to Justin Herbert or Trevor Lawrence?
I think this was heavily directed at you, TC.
Yeah.
You take that one.
Just damning. I would say he's like the epitome of Justin Herbert right now.
It's traits.
Yeah. It just kind of lacks some feel for the game and feel for the script and just struggling to layer some things in, layering some touch passes in.
Yeah, but those deep outs went lasers to the sideline.
What do we think about the Burrow comp for Ludwig? I like Ludwig more than Herbert.
No, I think Herbert's a better comp.
I think Herbert's a really good comp right now. Like bottles it in the playoffs right now. No, I'm saying right now. I'm not saying that's what he is. Like somebody asked me at our meetup in Philly
too.
Yeah, Burrow's a dude, man. Like he's.
I know. Like we can't treat a T4 in a major like like this is a bad week
man.
for Ludwig.
No,
I don't live in that
I think
world.
this was a negative. Like I just,
I'm not there.
But you also said it might be the biggest dub in the history of his career.
Yeah, you came off him earlier in the week too. You knew this was coming.
I saw this coming early. I think somebody asked me at our meetup
Tried to
too,
tell
what,
you guys.
He came off from somebody that finished way behind him.
No, I tried to
what
tell you guys.
Jalen Hurt, like they said, like who's the golfer equivalent of Jalen Hurts, and I couldn't figure that one out. I figured it out though, guys.
Hold on,
Zach Johnson.
Let us go. Okay.
Just corny as hell.
I was
Has
gonna
some
say
big,
maybe
has
Colin.
some big wins.
I was gonna say
People out of
Colin.
his home market mostly hate him.
What's the tush push then?
Him tapping down all the spike marks at St. Andrews in 2015.
I knew it.
And laying up on all the par fives at Augusta and winning.
Can't argue with the strategy. Can't argue with the scoreboard.
There's going to be a lot of discourse this week, continuing about iron covers and gloves and everything. But like as a little bit of dad talk here at my kid, like phase of my kids' life who don't take anything, like they don't cherish anything. They expect like everything given. Like I hope my kids someday are Aaron Ryman, because I get it. It's cheesy. You could dunk on it very easy. But like for how long he's been at it and to still like kind of carry that pride and tradition and thankfulness to his family, like it's pretty damn cool.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
I see a guy
couldn't
that's
agree more.
super comfortable in his own skin, and like I think that's such a skill's not the right word, but such a great trait where it's like
It's a
I don't care if you
value.
think it's lame, like
For
doesn't
sure.
truly doesn't matter to me. Like I'm doing it for a reason. It's yeah. I've boomeranged on the iron cover thing. I'm not gonna have iron covers, but I respect those iron covers and what they stand for.
Now, his quote about putting baby oil on his irons when he was younger, that also puts his entire career into question.
Oh,
Foreign substances. That's right, TC.
So, Neil, I will say,
that today.
I know the PGA of America cops a lot of shit. I think there are a lot of great PGA pros out there. The 30,000. I took Freddie to PGA Junior League at the club that Aaron Rye lives at here at Ponte Vedra, that plantation, where Smalley got absolutely pantsed during U.S. Open qualifying, and where the great man Peter Kuchar once roamed. But you know what? They rolled in and they got the dub. So the plantation didn't get all the dubs today.
Hey, congratulations.
So,
Shout out to
no,
the
seriously,
Junior League.
thank you to the PGA pros out there who grind and sweat and are often betrayed by their own organization. And I think hopefully that's on the mend moving forward. But it was a shame we didn't get to see Don out there this week.
He's too focused on the membership. He's trying to improve stuff.
And his deputy Nathan Carnes.
Well, as we're on the way out here, just a little bit of housekeeping stuff on our side. This was very exciting. Genuinely, this week we announced the first ever recipient of our NLU Evans Scholarship this past week down at Miami University, up at Miami University, across at Miami University from where I'm at. The U. Congrats to Abby Boyer, which was very exciting. Pumped to have her flying the flag as the first NLU Evans Scholar. If you're not familiar with this, we've been trying to raise money for about a year now. Basically, we're trying to raise $500,000 to donate to the Evans Scholarship. That amount of money would ensure that we have an NLU scholar in perpetuity. So we'd have a scholar for 4 years, and then it would roll over into another scholar for another 4 years, and so on until the end of time, Neil. And we've made such a big dent in it that they actually are like, you've already, nailed a half scholarship essentially. So we'll just get the ball rolling. We're going to give the first one to Abby Boyer, which we announced this week at Miami. So we got to meet Abby. We're doing a Nest podcast with her, which is very exciting. Just an awesome, genuinely great feeling and cool impact made by the community, all of our events, the roosts. It's awesome. I can't say enough great things about this. And I also can't say enough great things about the next 10 days. Our friends at Titleist are matching anybody who wants to donate to this scholarship up to $15,000. So if you've kind of been on the fence, if If you weren't sure about whether you wanted to donate to the scholarship or not, now would be a great time because Titleist is going to match those donations, like I said, up to 15 grand. So another good chance to make a big dent in the podcast or in the scholarship. So pumped about that.
So Abby's a Yinzer. She's from Pittsburgh. So
yes.
She can help settle a long held debate.
Yeah, that was our first question from her. Solly, what's the plan with the podcast going forward? We got an interesting couple weeks coming up.
It is. We'll have a new podcast interview out this coming Tuesday. I spoke with Julie Elion, the famed golf course psychology guru, if you will. She did a little work on my brain, which we do live on the podcast, as well as talking about some of her experiences there. We are going to be traveling here on this upcoming weekend. We leave actually on Sunday to film a new season of Torah Sauce. For those that have been patiently waiting for that. We're going to have kind of a stitched together episode this coming Sunday. Quick reaction to the CJ Cup and the World of Pro Golf. But we
South Africa
intentionally did travel during Sunday of CJ Cup. That was TC's work there. But also next week, we're going to have 2 parts of a Pete Dye deep dive that we've done. Sunday, May 31st, we will not have a Sunday recap due to our travels. But we will have, again, a part 1 of a deep dive on Pete Dye next week on the 26th. Part 2 will come out on the 31st. Then right into the first week of June, and we'll be doing a preview of the U.S. Women's Open, and we'll be out there almost straight from our trip out for the U.S. Women's Open out at Riv. So big couple of weeks coming up.
That's right. Tourist Sauce Rhino Jive.
We're collaborating with the Southern Guards.
Exactly. Neil, we haven't recorded the Pete Dye episode yet. I just blocked your calendar for the whole day. Strap in, man.
I saw that.
It's a big one.
Got a big meaty hold on the calendar.
Yeah, if you liked our CB McDonald little mini series that we did earlier in the year, it's gonna be kind of similar in that vein. So
Deej, just one thing I wanted to shout out for the Evan Scholar thing. If for the page, if you go to nolayingup.com and just navigate to the get involved
there you go
button up at the top, you'll see the NLU times ESF link, and you can donate there if you're interested. So I just wanted to give people a destination for that.
You can also just Google No Laying Up Scholarship. It's the first option that comes up when you do that as well.
There you go. On the video front, we've also got another one coming up. We've got the return of our Hitting Cups series that we started with Justin Huber. TC, we watched last time your first competitive golf tournament in 20 years, which was very exciting.
Bipolar round
at the FSGA. This time we're going back to the Gasparilla. Solly, you are not playing this time. It's our beautiful boy Ben Hoteling. With Solly on the bag, me and Huber breaking it down. So that's going to be coming out this week as well. So look out for that.
Big week, big couple weeks. We got a lot going on here. So
big week. Indeed.
That is going to do it. We are going to put the 2026 PGA Championship in the books. Want to give a shout out to our friends, of course, at Titleist, High Noon, Holderness and Bourne, and Yeti. Cody puts in a ton of work. A round of applause from everyone in the chat. So hit the subscribe button to give a round of applause here to Cody here on the YouTube page for everything he puts into the live shows during these major championship weeks. They're a grind as well. And Matt working behind the scenes on all our social stuff, and to the entire team. It's a lot of fun. Really appreciate you guys spending your major championship weeks with us, really. We'll be doing the same here for the last 2 men's majors of the year. We'll be live on a bunch of Sundays as well, and got a lot of we have President's Cup, Solheim, a lot more live shows here to come this year. So anything I'm missing?
No, congrats to Aaron Rye.
Yeah.
Well deserved.
Well deserved champion. Thank you very much for tuning in. We'll see you back here soon.